Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement. Hello again, viewers, and welcome to the program Agriculture on the Move. I am Philip Sidney, your host. Before I delve into my program, I would like to thank the viewers of this program who would meet me from time to time, and to thank me for the production and the information that is being disseminated island-wide and, of course, the rest of the world. They think it's apt, and they continue to tell me to continue to do the good job that has been done. This program is produced by the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Physical Planning, Natural Resources, and the cooperatives. I also like to reach out to the huskers out there, the farmers who are by the market selling, and I know things are really, really rough with you. Some of you are in the hot sun. I know it's tough, so just hang in there, hang in there. It will not be for too long. The banana farmers, I want to say again to you, the hardworking banana farmers, I know things are still rough with you. Some of you have not gotten paid for week 13 to 20, but that is on the way. I was told the help is on the way, so not too long from now you should get pay. I want to say to Sepa and Darren and the guys down in the Mabaya Valley, I'm sure you're tuned to the program. The vegetable farmers, Byron and the guys up in the Techime area, and of course the coconut vendors out there. I want to say hello to you, because this program today is really to highlight the coconut industry in St. Lucia, where it's at, and of course what is to come. With me today to discuss this topic is Mr. Kenny Daniel, who is the chairman of the National Stakeholder Platform for Coconuts here in St. Lucia, better known as Coco. Welcome to the program, Mr. Daniel.
Thank you, Mr. Sidney. And good day to all my viewers.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, man. So, Coco, it's nice to have you on this program today, because a lot is happening in the coconut industry, and a lot of information have not been disseminating out there to the public. So we need to know what's happening. Just a little history. Coconut is a big thing in St. Lucia, as you know,
yeah,
Kenny.
Definitely.
I mean, we talk about soufre and the coconut factory, and the copra and the oil and all the other derivatives.
Yeah.
Take us back to this in your heyday.
Okay. What we have happening now is that there's a project. The regional agricultural ministers realized that there was this issue with coconuts, and they came together, and then they had a survey done, and then eventually London Mills, which is a consulting firm, came together and approved coconuts industry development for the Caribbean. That started off in 2015, and was just phase one of the project. We had 9 members of the CARIFORUM region involved in that project, and we ran from Suriname to Guyana to Jamaica. So that project, basically what it did was to ensure that we took record of what was really happening. And for us in St. Lucia, there was little available. I think the last time we had some information was from the census. And when I saw the figures that were there, I said, well, I spoke to Kem Rajabatis, who is Extension Officer, and we agreed that we will look at the larger estates. And a large estate in St. Lucia for us is about 50 acres. So we came up with a number of 173 large estates and a total acreage of about 13,772 acres.
But what the objective of the project? What was really the objective of the project?
The objective was just to ensure that we can get the products sold, get better organization amongst the farmers, get some of the, everybody figured that they could do the coconut water and the standard was not there and all these kind of things. To put standards in place to ensure that the food safety issues were addressed and not doing everything haywire.
Was this supposed to be done by individual farmers, or was it a sort of a cooperative?
No, well, actually what started off was individual farmers, and then we realized it doesn't make much sense to go individual farmers. We can achieve much more if we come together as a group and develop a cooperative that will market the products.
Right.
So we market the coconut water, we'll market the grated coconuts, the coconut oils, the virgin coconut oils. And rather than have everybody like you go down into Viewport on a Saturday and you see a number of small vendors with the virgin coconut oil and the coconut oil. And then, when you look at it, you figure, well, hey, we can do something better. It doesn't have a label, it's not traceable. So if we come together, we can get things, put things in place and do something better.
That project began in 2015?
2015, and we went up to the first phase 2018.
Okay. So what was achieved within that period of time?
Okay, within the region, because we're talking about Carrefour.
Yeah, but I'm talking about St. Lucia per se.
Well, we trained the extension officers, all right? We had public and private sector involvement in the NSP. We were able to come up with some data in terms of cost of production. We also went through and we came up with information as to where the kind of varieties we had and the higher producing and even the average yield per coconut.
So the benefits. So how many farmers benefited, and were they satisfied with the project up to 2018?
Yeah, I think we had about 232 farmers who are directly involved with the project. They were satisfied because they could see things beginning to happen. All right? And what we have done now, regionally, we linked up and we shared, there's a lot of value chain development and ensure that we were going the way the other region was going. The market was huge and we needed to tap the market from the Caribbean.
Yeah, but okay, so if you mentioned regional, as far as marketing is concerned, are we able to export our coconut water regionally?
Some people are doing it, but it's not anything on a large scale. And that's why if we come together as a group, then eventually we can tap into the market. Yeah.
So the NSP was formed. Okay, how many members on that board? And what?
The NSP is about 13 members, and we try our best to have representatives from as many of the small producers. Processors. Okay. All right. We have farmers, roadside vendors. We have people who do coconut oil, grated coconuts, coconut water, and the list goes on.
Okay, and you're saying that the farmers that benefited, I think they were training.
Yeah, they were training.
They trained the farmers.
They trained the farmers. The project produced good agricultural practices for coconuts. And what we found out is that rather than taking 7 years to produce, we started seeing results in 3 years. We started seeing flowering in 3 years, and then the average yield per coconut went up in terms of water and also oil.
But based on, for example, I don't want to say the demise of the banana industry, but when in the heyday of the banana industry, during cultivation and fertilization, the coconuts were getting fertilized and the yields were high. All right. We saw a drop in yields. Some farmers, abandoned their fields and stuff like this. How did this affect the industry?
It affected the industry, but there was no record of what was going on until the project came in.
Okay.
So what really happened was when we tagged into the project, then we started to look for the average yield per nut, the average number of coconuts per tree per year. All right, and all these things came in, and then we decided, okay, let's start with 40 nuts per tree, 40 trees per acre, and every year we'll move up incrementally. All right, we monitored and we were able to find out, hey, this thing makes some sense because the returns to the farmer were in the $1.something million.
That is
That's spread amongst
coconut water or coconut water in addition to other products?
Purchases from the farmer.
Or purchases from the farmer?
Yeah, because I know our minister was very concerned about what's in it for my farmers.
Right.
So eventually we had to work out.
So it's a multiplicity of products?
Yeah.
So you're talking about coconut water?
We started with coconut water, roadside vendors, fresh water nuts, then the agro-processors, then the dry nuts we split it up into virgin coconut oil, cooking oil. Then we had the rest of the coconuts into grated coconut, like Julian is producing.
Right.
And we also have shredded, flaked coconuts.
Right.
Then we went into coconut crafts. Confectionery is an area that really did well. All right, so all the tablets and all these kind of things. And then we went into the nursery because a number of the coconuts, a significant amount of coconuts were going by the wayside. They were sprayed, they were chopped, but then now we recover these coconuts and begin to replant. Okay. So we develop in the industry by replanting and pushing through.
In that project, did you all take on the coconut husks for onward reproduction into soil medium and stuff like this? I mean, because right now I notice it's not happening again, but farmers were just dropping these things anywhere on the bad lil, in little places, and really causing it became a nuisance. Yeah. And also at the dump at the Diglo, I'm thinking here is an opportunity, all right, for somebody to take this on and continue to get it pulverized, for soil medium.
Yeah, well, you hit the nail on the head, Sydney, because towards the end of the first phase, we got a shredder, and it is actually by Caddy now, and what it did was to analyze the performance of that shredder and see how much the throughput in terms of how much it will cost. Okay. Because it's very important now to establish the cost of production. You want to know how much it will cost you because you're comparing it with peat moss.
Right.
Right, so it has to be good. But phase 2 of the project is coming along, and I think you know Leroy Ochilnier, right? He has a shredder, and that shredder is and it can produce coir and dust just like the peat moss. So phase 2 is already going on, and we're looking at the entrance to the Deglo site because they have some crown lands there. We have applied. We're waiting for a response, and then once that is in place, then the whole thing begins to move. Okay. So we'll get the shredded coconuts green and dry, and then we'll compost it, and then it will be available for farmers to enhance their soils.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things going on.
Let's go back to phase 1, 2015, 2018.
Yeah.
What was the successes in terms of, I mean, did it really meet its goal?
Yeah, well, the training, the whole, what they call mapping and characterization of coconut plantations, we had to go out and identify and see how many trees were there, what we call mapping and characterization, and to decide on whether the trees were too old or whether they were whether they had good genetic material.
Well, hold that point because we're due for our first break. You're watching Agriculture on the Move. Stay tuned. Back soon.
What's in the food you're eating? Do you really even know? All the chemicals and hormones used to accelerate their growth. All the artificial flavoring, sweeteners and colors too. We consume and we don't spare a thought for the damage that they'll do. No, think about the children. Think about the children. How will we save them? Chemicals and GMOs are not the solution. Use organic and join.
Excessive agrochemical use, additives, and genetically modified foods are harmful to health and the environment. Join the good food revolution. Grow, buy, and consume organic. A message from Rise St. Lucia and the Ministry of Sustainable Development with funding from the GEF Small Grants Program, UNDP.
The good food revolution.
Welcome back to the program, Agriculture on the Move, and of course with me is Mr. Kenny Daniel, better known as Coco in some of us who know him, who have done and is still doing a tremendous job in bringing farmers, the coconut farmers together to ensure that there is proper streamlining in that industry, and I think they have done very, very well. Coco has been involved in this area for a while. Though he's a livestock man, I'm sure, you don't forget that. So, Coco, let's go back to the ending of phase one.
Yeah.
You said about the mapping and the characterization.
Yeah, mapping and characterization, because we needed to know what was really on the ground, all right? And we could not go to every farmer, because if you look at St. Lucia from topographical situation, you realize that everywhere is coconuts, all right? And what we did was focus on the larger states, because we needed to start somewhere. And I think Kemwell, when I spoke with Kemwell, he agreed that, okay, let's work with the larger states, and he gave me the list. That information was present.
Okay.
So it allowed me to go in and apply different percentages and to come up with a picture of what can happen if we expand.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are speaking about stakeholders. The Ministry or Department of Agriculture is involved.
Yeah.
And CADI is involved. Any other?
Well, we work with ICA, all right, and there was the ITC.
So how are these stakeholders? What are their roles?
No, they come to the meeting and they share their experiences, because some of them are working in other countries, and they can pull resources. If we need some assistance, then we can get, for example, ICA can go to Latin America, get some resources first. When we bringing in the tissue culture, coconuts, so that was disease resistant, they played a pivotal role in trying to ensure that the protocols were in place and we were following them, and everything was in the making to have the plants in St. Lucia.
Okay, so those plants are here?
Those plants came in, well, we had 2 sets, and maybe about 2 years ago, you know, and then...
So are they out there, are they planted already?
Some plants are
and,
out,
is there
and
some
monitored.
Monitoring and evaluation, right?
Yeah, but the problem we had is that although we followed the protocol to a T, some of the plants got stuck in the US, in Florida, and by the time Amerijet could not take them because their schedule, they had to stick to the schedule. These plants went to Barbados, and then they were stuck there again.
So the mortality was very high?
Yeah, definitely very high.
Okay.
But the few that survive, you know, we continue to monitor them and make sure that, you know, because they're supposed to be disease resistant to lethal yellowing.
Right.
Now, if we have lethal yellowing and we end up in a situation like Antigua or maybe some Jamaica, then we can lose all our coconuts on the island.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we have
You're step
something.
ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Coco, let me ask you, I'm sure it's not plain sailing. I mean, what were the bottlenecks in the phase 1 and the phase 2 program?
The bottlenecks were the financing.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Financing to do what?
for farmers to establish more coconuts on the ground, for farmers to start to take care of the coconuts like a crop,
Right.
all right? And then for the agro processors to put the necessary things in place to make them HACCP compliant and also traceable in terms of the products that they put on the market.
So coconut water is the biggest enterprise in the
Well,
coconut
it's supposed
industry
to be,
now?
it's supposed to be cooking oil, but then I think coconut water is definitely the biggest now.
There were lots of problems with the vendors. Especially we had a problem with them in the north of the island. We also had a problem with them even in central of Castries,
Yeah.
as far as a venue for vending the product. What's the situation? I know the platform is assisting in that regard?
Yeah, the platform is responsible for addressing the needs of the vendors, right? I take special care of the guys by the market, by marketing board, because when you realize there's not an organization that takes care of them,
Right.
so they can be pushed. And today they push one direction, and then next time they push another way. Marketing board is supposed to be demolished.
Right.
What happens to them? All right. So that's one of the things I was looking at, and then because of that, I said, hey, we need to form an association or a cooperative that can address your needs.
Okay.
And so far, we are doing good as far as the cooperative is concerned. We have the bylaws, we have the registrar and his team on board. And I must say that I was very surprised, and when I saw the amount of efforts that they put in this whole cooperative development for the coconut vendors
Okay.
and stakeholders.
I still have some concerns with the delivery of the coconut water, that product, to consumers and how it's done.
Okay.
Because I don't know whether the utensils that are being used, sanitized or disinfected, the cutlass, we talk about leptospirosis and the coconut staying overnight by the market, and the Castries is infested with rodents. Is there something in place whereby each farmer can go to that, processing area, and they can actually process the nuts there under hygienic conditions, so that the public is satisfied that they are buying a wholesome product?
Yeah. Just let me clarify one thing, because the bottles, for example, are clean. They purchase from the stores. The coconuts no longer stay by the market nighttime.
Okay.
All right. So you get a situation where they are washed by the coconut roadside vendors, and then they take in about 3 o'clock in the morning. They buy the Castries markets and they start to bottle.
Okay.
The concerns that you have here is with bottling and cutting and then pouring and then the dust.
Exactly. And the dust
So
around,
although we have clean bottles and everything in place, there might be some cross-contamination with the dust.
Yeah.
And of course, the Ministry of Health, the Bureau of Standards, the Ministry of Agriculture, OECS, all of them have had food safety training with these vendors.
Okay.
But it is still what you're talking about in terms of getting a place. That is one of the main objectives of the formation of the cooperative, to get everybody together and to bring them to a location where they can cut the coconuts under sanitary conditions, bottle the water under sanitary conditions, put a label, it's traceable, and it goes to the supermarket, and you can follow through.
There are still concerns about persons with containers, coolers, and you have a vendor with coconut bottles in his hand. People are saying some of the bottles are mixed with water. Right? There's some concerns there. Is there a constant monitoring of these mini processing plants, as you may say, to ensure that, I mean, are they HACCP certified or whatever, so that the public is, because honestly, I mean, I know the farmers that are producing coconut water, and I will go to them. And other than that, I may not purchase. I may not just stand by the roadside, especially on the way going to Grosley, you know, and the guy would point a bottle of water at me, and there for me just to take it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong, because coconut water is like milk, and you know how fast milk spoils. You know, if you allow coconut water to be exposed, and it's at a temperature greater than 4 degrees, then it begins to spoil. Right? And then one of my concerns is that you see a lot of people up north, you know, showing the coconut water. Right? The temperature of that coconut water is too high already.
Exactly.
You know, the situation of putting water in the bottles, you have to be a genius to mix water and coconut water, because you know there is body to the coconut water. Water, ordinary Wasco water is just flat, right? And if you mix the two of them together, I don't see how you can mix it, because it's definitely going to be different. You taste it and you immediately say, hey, you have water in that. But what happens is some of that is frozen. And when it freezes, the different substances in the coconut water, nutrients in the coconut water,
degrades.
No, it freezes at different temperatures.
Okay.
So when the water, because coconut also contains water,
right?
When that water freezes, it pushes out the other, like the sugars and the proteins and all these kind of things, through the cover.
Yes.
So if you fill the bottle and you freeze it, all that comes out.
Right.
And when it thaws out, you get a taste of water. It's, hey, we put water in that.
Okay.
And that's where the problem is. Now, if you, at the training sessions, we have highlighted these kind of things, you know, telling them, say, hey, this is what you're not supposed to do.
What is expected moving forward with so the second phase is on now?
Second phase has started.
And what's the duration of the second phase?
Well, COVID has affected the second phase, and we started off September 2019. All right, 2020 was COVID. 2021, we said, hey, this thing is here to stay. We have to work with it.
So how you work around it?
All right, working around COVID is to probably go the way of the cooperative. If you are a roadside vendor and you sell 400 coconuts every other day, you can now sell 400 coconuts every day, because the cooperative will be in a position to take these coconuts and move it better than you. They'll be right from the supermarket chain everywhere. You'll see a solution product, coconut water.
But is there a move for coconut vendors to realize, okay, this is a business. I'm establishing 10 acres of pure stand coconut. Is that?
Yeah, that is.
Are you moving in that area?
That is in the making. And not only that, we have people overseas who have land, and the land is just they fallow.
Okay.
So we are now going to be approaching them to see whether we can, we can go into a memorandum of understanding, and then we take care of your land, plant coconuts in the cooperative, so whatever you want, or have livestock and coconuts, and then move.
Briefly mention something about an outlet in the north where it will be established pretty soon called Bagay Cocoa?
Tut Bagay Cocoa.
Tut Bagay Cocoa. Give us briefly before we
well, of course, we have the links, and recently somebody said to me, Kenny, you don't know there is this food court in Grosley, opposite Bank of St. Lucia? I said, no, well, I don't really travel up to the north because there's traffic jam and all these kind of things. I sit down. Yeah. And then when I went, I was surprised. I said, okay, let me see what we can do. So I went to the Grosley Council and and spoke with the mayor, and he was very accommodating. And then he says, "Hey, this is an excellent idea." And just like Peterson Francis and Castries, he said to me, "You're solving our problems because you're bringing them together." And then once you bring them together, then we don't have the problem of roadside vending again. We still have people who want the traditional coconut water, they want to see it. But eventually they'll understand that, hey, this is done under sanitary conditions.
Okay.
So for example, if we get some space in Otsa, you can deliver your 1,000 coconuts. We'll schedule everything. You deliver your 1,000 coconuts today, somebody else deliver 1,000 tomorrow, and we go around working with the coconuts and doing what we have to do. You know? So eventually, you now sell maybe 1,000 coconuts every day.
So you get to buy cocoa, get gash, to buy everything up there?
Everything.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
By the way, Coco, we have reached the end of the program.
Already?
Already. So I really want to thank you for being here, for
Okay.
enlightening the public as to what's happening. I think coconut products are here to stay, especially coconut oil is virgin and the processed one. So I wish you success with your platform. And of course, wish St. Lucia well.
Yeah.
We
also want to say that if people out there, interested in getting involved, get in touch with your extension officer and then contact us.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you again for being there, Coco.
Yeah.
You have been watching Agriculture on the Move. I'd like to thank you, the viewers, for watching the program, especially the coconut vendors. I'm very thankful and happy that you all are coming together, and of course, to ensure that the coconut industry remains on a level. I think we need to do it well, get it well organized, do it professionally, and of course, treat it as a business, because c'est ça nous. Eat fresh, St. Lucia's best. I'm Philip Sidney. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.